All right, sixth graders, this is to help you with question 3 on CR 15. It says, Maddie had a piece of lumber that was 4.5 yards long. She used this lumber to make shelves. Each shelf was made from a piece of lumber that was 3/4 yard long. How many shelves can she make? And Ms. Connor last year broke it down into steps. She said, first, change the mixed number to an improper fraction. Decide what you are starting with, what is happening to what you are starting with. So those were 3 steps. So she took 4.5 and she changed it to an improper fraction. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 whole circles and half of another circle. The big question is, how many halves are we actually working with? So I just split my 4 whole circles into halves. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one more is 9 halves. So 4.5 is the same as 9 halves. 2 times 4 is 8, plus one more is 9. 9 over a denominator of 2. Decide what you're starting with. Well, it looks to me like she's starting with a piece of lumber. Oh, that's an ugly drawing, but that's okay. She's starting with a piece of lumber, and that piece of lumber is 4.5 yards long. And she's making shelves. Each shelf is going to be 3/4 of a yard long. So each shelf is going to be 3/4 of a yard long. And the question is, and so each one of these will be broken into 3/4, 3/4, and so on. Question is, how many shelves can she make? Well, what it looks like she's doing, so what did we start with? We started with 4.5 or 9 halves. What's happening to what we start with? So we take our 4.5, and it looks to me like we're splitting that 4.5 up into 3/4 yard pieces. So we're taking 4.5 and dividing it up into 3/4 yard pieces, and then the question is, how many of those pieces are we able to make? So then you take your 4.5 and you convert that to 9 halves, divide it by 3/4, and then you can do your keep, change, flip. Oops, keep, change, flip. So you keep your 9 halves, change your division to multiplication, and flip over that second fraction to make it 4/3. Then you can multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom. 9 times 4 is 36. 2 times 3 is 6. 36, this means divide it by. 36 divided by 6 is 6. We must be able to come up with 6 pieces, 6 shelves. My picture's not very good. Oops, let me shorten it up. But if I guarantee you, if we take 3/4 and add it to itself 6 times, we'll come up with 4.5. 3/4 and 3/4 is 1.5. 3/4 and 3/4 is 1.5. 3/4 and 3/4 is 1.5. So I really have 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. That's just my quick check. Absolutely, you'll be able to make 6 shelves. You take your amount you start with, divide it up into the size pieces you're going to make, and it'll tell you how many pieces you can make. I hope that helps.